right from the opening screening. You know, we had this incredible screening. People came out into the snow. It was -2. We had this big truck blaring metal on metal. And I remember this school teacher from Salt Lake City walked out into the snow. She bought 3 copies of This Is 13, and she said, "I will never listen to these. I just want to help." You know? we knew that we had something. We knew we had something incredibly special. You know, we just thought, there's got to be some force in the universe that will hear us. So we just really fucking fought, man, and we just didn't really give up, and we got Rick Krim. And so VH1 was one of everyone else, or the major people who passed on it. And then this is the funny thing. We decided we're going to play this film at every flipping festival anywhere in the world that would have us. And so if there was like, you know, the Manitoba, some guy was having a film festival on Tuesday afternoon, send them the film, you know. And then there was one in Prague, and it was a pub, okay, for 100 people. We sent them, and Lips and Robin G5 were incredibly generous, and they were like, look, fuck it, man, we will go. Lips said at one point, I will go door to door in America if I have to, right? And basically, we sent them to Prague, amongst another, to go to this film festival, which was basically in this guy's basement of his pub that he owned, okay? And they went, and as it happened, there were 2 VH1 executives on holiday from New York drinking upstairs, and they thought, hey, maybe we should check this film festival out downstairs, Brad Abrams and Warren Cohen. They went downstairs, they saw the movie, they said, fuck, this is amazing. They took it back to New York, and VH1 was like, they didn't even know they passed on it. They ended up getting to this guy, Van Toffler, who runs all the MTV networks, and Rick Krim. And that's how it began. And it was just, we just refused, we just believed that somehow, somewhere, a miracle would happen with this movie. And we just didn't give up. So it was a long struggle. It was, I don't know, a year and a half, and we got it out, and it was just like the most incredible thing. The opening weekend, I think we had the higher per-screen average than Hannah Montana. It was crazy. Like, and it was just this wonderful thing that happened, but you know, we just really trusted the movie, and these guys were just willing to really just go and share their story with anyone who wanted to listen. We just played the movie everywhere. So it was really a tough road for us, but you know, what else were we going to do? This is not a band that wants to give up. You know, they've been doing it for 30 years, and I thought, if we can't stick it out, you know, these guys have been doing it since they were like 14 fucking years old. I mean, when you think about that level of dedication and friendship, I mean, how many, you know, I remember being 14, being in a band going, yeah, man, we're going to rock forever, you know, like, these guys fucking did it. 40 fucking years. All right, so, and one last question, then we're going to meet you out in the hall. Yes, gentleman in the back.
What was the genesis for making this movie, and what was the movie you were looking to make when you decided to first get into that, you know, adventure?
Do you want to talk about the genesis of the movie? Talk about the marquee.
Sasha shows up in our change room in 1982, and it's a 15-year-old kid freaking out that he's getting into we let him in, and he was so excitable. It was like a really remarkable kind of kid, but I didn't know that he didn't look like he was 15, but that's how old he was. And he's going, come on, I'll show you, I'll take you to Carnaby Street. We're going, Carnaby Street? What's that? So he takes us to Carnaby Street, and he ends up taking us all over London, and including to his place.
That was the best part. Okay, so I have my band. I've been annoying my mother for a year with Metal on Metal. They've got posters of ANVIL all over my wall. I show up at my house with fucking ANVIL. My mother's like, what is, they have 10 minutes, get them out of here. I was like, it was such a teenage victory. But it was fantastic, man. The great thing about this band, and I would go and see all these bands at the time, like Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, all those bands that I was into when I was like 13, 14 years old, that I really loved, and I'd go to the Marquee Club and all these different clubs in London to see them play. And they weren't famous bands at that time, but what you notice about a lot of them, and I won't say which ones, was they were kind of like arseholes, you know, they just were interested in coke and girls, and like the young fans were like annoying to them. You know, and the difference with these guys was I tricked my way into the dressing room, and they were like more interested in what I had to say than all these like big rock stars.
Yeah, but what we saw in him as ourselves as a kid, that we, like Rob and I would go to concerts and go try to meet the guys, you know what I'm saying? And we saw ourselves in him, so it's like, sure, come on in. I mean, it's the least that I think that we could do.
But they were so cool with me. I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. Like, my favorite band is like talking to me. And then I took them on this tour of London, and they said to me, hey, what are you doing next summer on your school holidays? I said, I don't know. They said, you want to come on tour as a roadie? I was like, what? So I basically ran away from home, and I went on tour, on the Backpacks tour. I don't want to get into it. But it was fucked up, man. I was 15. I ran away for the holidays. Basically, I told my dad lived in New York, and I said to my mother, I'm going to spend some with my dad. And after a week with my dad, I said, I got to go and join some friends in Canada. I got on the train, and I went and joined this tour, and it was, you know, metal in 1983. Think about it. And I was 15 or whatever. And it was just the most extraordinary, and we like became friends. And then we lost touch for 20 years. And then going back to the gentleman's question, 20 years later, I was working on I think, a film. And I suddenly was thinking about, you know, being 15 and like, what happened to ANVIL, my old buddies I hadn't seen in 20 years. And basically what happened was, you know, all the bands they'd influenced had gone on to be quite mega. And I remember actually seeing Lars Ulrich, we were both 17, you know, and like he was an ANVIL fan. And like all these guys, all these kids, and some of them have gone on to be in these mega bands, and it hadn't happened for ANVIL. And I was like, you know, probably one of them died, you know, the usual thing, you know, as a record company of management, musical differences. And I went on the internet and I found ANVIL and I wrote to this website. And like within an hour, I got an email back from Lips himself. And I'll never forget, the opening line of this email was Teabag, which was my ANVIL name. I was English, I drink tea, okay? Teabag, we thought you died or became a lawyer. That was I told him that I actually had an overdose while I was at law school, which was kind of both of them. And so Lips flew out to LA the following weekend. And what was amazing was he was literally wearing the same Scorpions t-shirt 20 years before. I mean, I'm not even kidding. And we got into the same argument about this UFO album. And you know, for the first while, I was like, this guy is fucking insane. He's like 53, working at Choice Children's Catering, and he still believes that his time will come, that his band's gonna make it. I'm like, I sort of felt piteous slightly, and like, oh my God, poor darling, you know. And like, but you know, when you spend like 10 minutes with Lips, it was like by the end of the weekend, I was like, ANVIL's gonna fucking make it. They're gonna fucking make it. I can't believe that they're gonna make it. And so I was so captivated by this spirit that Lips had, of absolutely refusing to give up, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the odds, no matter what people were saying. He absolutely refused to let go of that childlike, innocent, naive, beautiful belief that we all have as kids. That somewhere, somehow, magic can happen, you know? And it was so pure and real and powerful that I got completely taken by it. And I thought, I've got to make this fucking movie. You know, but had he not had that, had they not had that, there would have been no movie to make. I mean, this is a movie not about the past, but about the present, about striving for something that you really believe in, that you really need, that you will not give up on. And that's really what the film is. And I think that had they not had that certainty, you know, it wouldn't have happened. And like if you had said to me, you know, 2 years from now, you will be sitting at the side of the stage, you know, watching them open for AC/DC and playing to 50,000 people, I never in a million years would have believed you. But there I am, I wake up on the stage and Lips comes over to me, man, and he's got his guitar on, and there's like 50,000 people in Giant Stadium, and like Nightline is filming it for ABC. And we're standing there going, what the fuck happened? And it's all because he fucking believed. And you know, I needed that message, and that's why I made the film. I needed that message. So, we'll meet you back there. We've got some DVDs. If you want to buy a DVD, they'll sign it for you. See you in a minute. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you.